Usually when I get a text about 4:30 in the morning, it's bad news, but not this time.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back into Locked On Bama, AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson. That's me. And another Alabama internet legend, Michael Asian Jimmy Southern from Tide Hoops History is joining us right now because he is our authority on all things Alabama basketball. And my goodness. Well, first of all, let me tell you that FanDuel is a sponsor of this segment. I want to thank you every day for being here every day. Thank you, newbies, for being here today. And thanks, everybody, for making this your first listen every single day. But I woke up this morning, and it's one of those things where if I have a text, it's usually like some weirdo friends that are insomniacs that are just talking out of their yin-yangs about nothing. But I saw one from you to me and another buddy of ours, Doug Amos, down in Montgomery. He does a radio show. And I thought, this one I better open because I thought he was going to be something like, hey, Alabama's decided and Desmond Claude have figured out a way to get on the team. That's what I thought it was going to be. I didn't have an inkling. I didn't have a notion. I didn't have a thought. I didn't have a prayer that LaBaron Philon would be coming back because LaBaron Philon himself had said on multiple occasions to different people publicly, I ain't coming back. But LaBaron Philon is coming back, Michael, and it's a big deal.
No, it's huge. I mean, again, I'd be lying if I thought this was going to happen last night. Look, the coaching staff, I won't say they maybe knew like weeks ago. Maybe surely LaBaron told them maybe a day or two ago. Again, maybe they planned out they wanted this 11th hour announcement from him just for the fun of it. But remember, this coaching staff, they do a really good job. When they go after someone, whether it be a coach or a player, it's usually in secrecy and no one has any clue. Then they just spring it on you. But welcome news, especially, look, there are a lot of fans and they grumble. We know this. Alabama fans complain about everything. Everyone was worried about Alabama was going to have a poor finish to the recruiting class or portal class. Well, what better can you get than a potential late first-round pick deciding to come back for a sophomore season? And you know what Philon brings to the table. He's one of your athletic guards. He's one of the few that could cause turnovers. The only thing that prevented him from being a lottery pick is his consistency on the outside shot. So he gets to come back, work on his shooting, and let's see what happens. But a huge momentum swing for Alabama basketball late last night that basically had Twitter on fire at about 11 o'clock last night, 10:30, 11 o'clock last night. Everything just started going crazy.
I mean, for me, I'm getting up to go to the bathroom the first time around 10:30, 11 o'clock at 52 years old. The first of many trips to the restroom in the middle of the night. But, that's another way to look at this is people who aren't ecstatic enough about this need to calculate and need to reimagine this in a way like, all right, instead of saying LaBaron Philon's coming back and you give a golf clap, imagine this. Imagine that you had gotten up and had gotten a text that, hey, Alabama just signed or is going to sign a five-star who's the number, 10 prospect in this class, 8 prospect in this class. And his name's not LaBaron Philon. You would be happier. But it's sort of like there's some people who are really happy about this, and that's what they should be. There's some other people who weren't taking this seriously enough. It is monster news. I mean, it's as big a signing as Alabama could have had this year outside of A.J. Dabasta.
Well, again, I'm not sure why anyone would be downplaying this. Again, this for the program, it's huge. Again, Alabama had some momentum early in the transfer portal. They got 3 really quickly. Obviously, you knew those were 3 that they had targeted for a while. I mean, they just don't haphazardly go in there and try to get kids. Then they got the last one. About 2 to 3 weeks later, and then it's been all quiet. There have been rumors, rumblings. Are they going to do this? What's going to happen here? Again, even with the commentary coming from Philon's camp, like, hey, I'm staying in the draft. I think 99.9% of all Alabama fans had given up hope this was going to happen. So huge kudos. Let's put it to these terms. What would the 2022 Alabama team have been if Josh Primo had come back? what would the 2024 Alabama team that went to the Final Four would have been if Noah Clowney had come back? So I equate it to something along those levels. That's huge. It's a big win. Not only are you getting a talented player that comes back, it's a talented player that's been in your system for a year, and he brings all the things that you're looking for. I guarantee you he's probably going to be shooting 1,000 shots a day between now and November. That's the key area that he's going to work on. He's good everywhere else. And look, there's a reason he was in the starting lineup. Yes, there were some injuries at the beginning of the year, but everyone saw it. He's one of the few players that he's basically got dog in him. I mean, he's got the fight, he's got the will, and he's fearless.
I had to do a video for the Locked On NBA guys because they want a video for all the prospects in the draft. So when they have the NBA draft, they got the NBA videos ready to go from the various Locked On places that kid went to school, like LaBaron Philon for Bama and Cooper Flagg. That JJ did the video for them, right? And I'm not good on like prepping for that. I just sort of say what comes to my mind, just like I do with this show, because I think that's what works better for me. And it dawned on me that, he only averaged about 10.5 points a game. And so people are thinking, oh, Alabama's getting a score. They're not getting really a scorer. They're getting a facilitator who can score and, play good defense. Y'all don't know. LaBaron Philon was a scorer in high school. But on this particular team, when you have a Mark Sears and you have Grant Nelson, you've got some seniors that require shots. They need shots to get going. LaBaron probably didn't take as many shots as he should have. And I think next year you're going to see his scoring average go from 10 to 17 or 18. That's my prediction right now.
I would disagree. Yeah, I would disagree. Look at the players that you had. You had Mark Sears, you had Grant Nelson. You had a lot of – look, you lost 80% of your scoring from last year. So the opportunities are going to be there for Philon to take more shots, to take more drives. Let's see. Again, he's going to be running the point a good bit too some. So he's going to have an opportunity to be even more creative. He can show what he can do from a passing standpoint. You already know what he can do from defense. And if he develops just a steady, decent three-point shot, then he'll be completely fine for next year's NBA draft. But the good news is all Alabama basketball fans need to celebrate this. This is a great thing. Look, let's not kid ourselves, though. If you look at the preseason right now, let's not make no mistake. Kentucky and Florida are going to be ranked ahead of Alabama. But what Alabama has coming back, Coach Oates can work with that. So I have no problem. This is a good roster. I feel it's a good roster. The addition of LaBaron Philon takes it to another level of potential. Like we always want to preface that with potential. So again, I think the staff likes what they have. This should be a very good shooting team. Again, I'm going to emphasize what we talked about before. I want to see what the new offensive coordinator, Coach Fleming, does, because Ryan Pannone, he was a very great architect the last 2 years. So very curious to see what he does with this new cast coming in and the players that he has.
I'm going to tell you about FanDuel now. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and you better hurry because Oklahoma City are already in the finals, and the Pacers may be there tonight. And every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. FanDuel is a lot of fun, and it makes every game much more exciting. New to FanDuel? If you are, that's crazy talk because everybody's on FanDuel. But if you happen to be, let's just say you just turned 21 or whatever, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get 200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Okay, so the next logical question here is, will Alabama add anybody else? Is this sort of wrap it up? Jimmy and I were texting this morning, and Jimmy had a good comment, and he'll probably use it tomorrow too, but he was like, I think this may have broke the bank. I don't know. But I really, this is a two-part question. Do you think we'll go after somebody else, and can we afford it?
Well, it depends on what they want to go after. But again, everyone knows this. Alabama does not go or does not play the NIL game of we're the highest bidder. They are very selective. They have a budget. They know what they want to spend. I guarantee you, look, they play Moneyball. They do the numbers. They see the value of a player, the efficiency, and they calculate what they think the best, I guess, compensation would be. Look, Alabama has room for one more player. Will they take another player? Don't know. Obviously, you want to have a full roster, but again, it's going to be the right player, the right circumstance, at the right price. I mean, that's just the way it's going to have to be. With LaBaron Philon coming back, what it does obviously removes a lot of concern and pressure. So you thought they were selective before. They can be very selective now if they want to fill that 13th spot. Again, I think they'll be perfectly fine with the 12 that they have. But if something comes up, or as we always joke about, a player is willing to come in to join this cast and play for the Nate Oates discount, I'm sure they'll absolutely do that. But there is no pressure or emphasis now to rush out there and try to get one more player. Again, the advantage is with the coaching staff now.
Yeah, the selling aspect has changed on this. I think you go from selling, hey, we need somebody to come in and be that scorer. We need somebody to come in and be that alpha. Well, now we got the alpha, and we sort of got the scorer. I mean, granted, again, he only averaged 10.8 last year, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say he leads the team in scoring next year. Okay, that some people may think that's over the top. I don't. I believe in him that much. Maybe Bethea will do it. I don't know. But I think your aspect about the selling changes where you go, okay, we need somebody to join our ranks that wants to ride this success train. And again, I know some people were disappointed we didn't make the Final Four, go even further, and we were preseason number this or that. And, by that reckoning, by that reasoning, it's a disappointment. I never thought that. I think every time you go to the Elite Eight, it's a win, because we've only done it 3 times, 2 times under this regime and 2 times in a row. So, yeah, I feel like it's a big-time win for us, and we are on a roll. Who wants to get on the Bama bus right now that is very, very successful and enjoy playing St. John's in MSG? Who wants to do that? Who wants to go to Las Vegas and play in a tournament where if you win it, you get a lot of money? Who wants to do that? Who wants to play Purdue in Tuscaloosa, and Purdue may be preseason number 1? Who wants to play Arizona in Birmingham, and Arizona is going to be preseason top 5 or top 10? Who wants to play Illinois in Chicago, Illinois, and get all that exposure? They're going to be a good top 15, top 20 team. So you've got a lot to sell here, on top of the fact that you're playing in what is now the best conference in basketball. We're going to talk about that on the other side. But the SEC is, good Lord, you're absolutely right about that. But where would you say now that the outlook is for Alabama 25-26? I think the floor is about what we were this year. Honest to God, I feel like we should have about the same record, if not a hair better.
With the potential that they have on this team, again, it all depends on how they gel. And especially, look, you are replacing 80% of a lot of categories. So Alabama fans, we say this every year, with the roster construction that happens year after year, you're going to have to be a little bit patient. And with this schedule, they're going to take some lumps. So people don't need to jump off the bandwagon into December if they've got 3 or 4 losses based on that schedule. And again, just like college football is trending in this direction, college basketball is a March sport. How you do in March is ultimately decides how the fans and how the program and how you are judged. Were you successful or were you not? Again, I would love to win SEC regular season championships and tournaments. But again, if Alabama is competitive and is in the mix and then goes on a great run in March, that's exactly what you want. I think this team, they're not going to be picked to win the SEC, but they definitely have the potential to be top 4. So maybe the double bye in the SEC tournament, but be in contention. And look, if they're in contention to maybe be 1 or 2 games back of the lead in the SEC regular season championship or title race like that, they're going to be a very high seed in the NCAA tournament, simply based on strength of schedule alone and the conference itself. So Alabama will be able to position itself just fine. They will be rewarded again for that tough schedule. And I dare say this, look, you look at that November, December road schedule. If you're an Alabama basketball fan and you're very fortunate enough to be able to have the money to travel, you've got a very nice trips coming up if you want to go to Chicago, Las Vegas, and New York for the holidays. So who could ask for more, and get to watch them play against some very high quality teams?
So CBS has they do a great job of changing up their top 25 almost on a daily, if not weekly basis, even in the offseason. And they just moved St. John's to their preseason number 1 team for next year. And so, of course, Alabama plays them in Madison Square Garden. They have Houston at number 2, and Houston is in that Las Vegas tournament, if I remember correctly. Are they not?
I don't know for sure if they are this year. I mean, I know Auburn is, but wouldn't surprise me if they're not. But let's remember one thing. If you go back and look at last year's preseason top 10, there's only 3 teams that made the Elite 8: Houston, Alabama, and Duke. So again, a lot happens between November and the end of February. So again, I'm not going to be too concerned, as we already said, if Alabama takes a few lumps. They will be battle tested, and that's the testament to how Nate Oates wants to schedule and what he wants his team prepared for when it comes to the postseason.
All right, I just pulled up the Players Era tournament. It's Bama, Auburn, Baylor, Creighton, our arch nemesis, Duke, Gonzaga, Houston, Iowa State, Kansas, Michigan, Notre Dame, Oregon, Rutgers, San Diego State, South Kakalaki, St. John's, St. Joseph's, Syracuse, Tennessee, Texas, UCLA, and UNLV. Good Lord, have mercy.
Well, they're obviously they're going to have to play that at multiple sites, and I think the rule is that, like from the SEC side, they're not allowed to pair the SEC team. So Alabama won't be playing Tennessee or Auburn, anything like that. Now,
well, at least not in the first round,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think. I thought there was a way that they did it that they're not, the SEC wouldn't allow it, but I could be wrong about that. But they're definitely not going to play. You're right, in the first round on that one. Look, I'm going to go out on the limb and say this too. Last year, Alabama was the only team to play all 4 number 1 seeds. If Alabama's not a number 1 seed this year, they're going to be the next team again to go back-to-back years and play every number 1 seed in the regular season.
Yeah. So couple that with the rest of this top 25 I'm going to give you. By the way, on that Players Era tournament, BYU is not in it. I thought they were for a second, but they're number 3 preseason. Purdue is 4. We play them. UConn 5. Florida 6. Obviously, we play them. Could play them twice in the regular season. Not forget the tournaments. Texas Tech, Michigan, Duke. We could play Duke. Who knows in the ACC Challenge?
Could.
Who knows?
It would be great to have them in Coleman.
Yep. UCLA, Arizona, as I mentioned, we definitely play them. Kentucky, we definitely play them at least once. Iowa State, they're in the tournament that we just talked about. Louisville, Michigan State, Oregon, they're in that tournament. We talked about Kansas in that tournament. Auburn's in that tournament, and we play them twice. Arkansas, Tennessee, Gonzaga, Texas, Illinois, Bama, Wisconsin, and Ohio State. That's their top 25. I just listed just about Alabama's schedule for next year. So it's pretty incredible, and it's a lot of fun. And I've already said that St. John's game is on the same day as LSU at Bama in football. And I've been to a million Alabama LSU football games, and I would love to go to this one too. But if I get the opportunity, I'm going to MSG. That's just happening. I mean, you don't get to go to MSG to see your college team play often, and in a great environment. In the NIT, it's one thing; it's a different animal. But in the regular season, Pitino against Oates, everybody just jacking up threes like you wouldn't believe, playing some tenacious D. It's going to be a lot of fun. So certainly looking forward to that. We're going to talk about the SEC as a whole when we return. So have seen some other guys in the SEC announce they're coming back. Oway, I think, for Kentucky.
Yep.
Tahad Pettiford coming back for Auburn. That makes them a lot more dangerous, certainly. The one thing I love about Pettiford and Philon coming back is that's one thing I talked about that NBA draft video. Like, I can't get out of my head when I think Philon, that incredible steal and then subsequent layup he had against Pettiford in overtime at Auburn. I mean, that was just, you talk about having a dog in you. He went after a guy who a lot of people in the NBA loved when he was playing in those 5-on-5 games, and he just went right at him, wasn't scared at all of the moment in Auburn, which is one of the toughest places in the country to play, and he just schooled him, did a great job.
Well, I would say in regards to Auburn, the announcement of Pettiford coming back is just as huge for them as it is for Alabama with Philon. So, and really, it's a testament to the basketball in this state. So we're going to have another great season of college basketball in this state for both programs, even though I don't like to say that. It is what it is. It is what it is on that one. I expect Auburn to be very competitive. They've also got a lot of transfers that came in, but Pettiford is huge. What's kind of funny is, they both were maybe projected to be late first rounds. So the knock on Philon right now that maybe prevented him is his shooting, and Pettiford was his measurables. So Philon has the measurables and Pettiford has the shooting. So, Philon can work on his shooting. I don't think Pettiford can get any taller. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But Tahad Pettiford is also a great player. I have a lot of respect for his game. So those Alabama-Auburn games, you thought they were intense last year? They're not going to lose any intensity this year. I know that for sure.
No. Adu, is it Tiro? Am I saying that right? For Arkansas?
Yeah, the big guy.
Tennessee?
Yeah, big guy.
Yeah, he's staying in the draft, but Kevin Knox is coming back for Arkansas. And that's good. Again, that's going to be another team that they haven't been themselves for a little bit now, but they're going to be strong next year. They got some dudes. Florida, it looks disgusting. I'll say this. I know it sounds crazy. I think Florida's roster on paper looks tougher next year than it did this year, and they won the national championship.
So I also have a lot of respect for what the coach has done there down at Florida. He is really, really good. He knows exactly what he wants, and he knows how to build his roster, very similar to Coach Oates, and he's had so much success these last 2 years on getting the players they want. Yeah, if you look at on paper what Florida has, they look just as stout, if not better, like you said. They really could go for a back-to-back. I mean, they're going to be that talented. Look, you added Boogie Flan to a team that you already had, and you get the big guy coming back, so you get Alex Condon coming back. So
Xavier Lee coming in from Princeton, right?
Yes. So again, I have a lot of respect for what Todd Golden has done. He's a heck of a coach. And again, he needs to hurry up and go to the NBA. Some NBA team needs to come and go ahead and sign him as their head coach. But the SEC is going to be just another knockdown, drag out street brawl again. And I love it. Look, this last season was a lot of fun to watch. Look, there were times with Alabama basketball, they get a little frustrated. But at the end of the day, great season for the conference, for the team. And you saw it in the NCAA tournament. 7 out of the 16 teams were from the SEC. Half the Elite Eight and half the Final Four. And your national champion from the SEC. I expect similar things this year as well, based on the talent. And this is the one side of the NIL that is actually good. You actually have some consistency, at least from players coming back to college as before, where even if they got drafted in the second round, they'd still sign and go G League. No, why would you want to do that? Stay in school, make as much or more money, and enjoy college life. So,
and get more exposure.
Absolutely. College basketball actually in the last 3 years from NIL has benefited. Now, the programs themselves have roster changes year to year, but the talent is staying in the league longer. And I do believe your draft picks, when they come out, people or teams in the NBA that take maybe a third-year player or even a fourth-year player, they have a more proven commodity. And you'll see those players actually jump into the starting lineups, and they won't go down to the G League. They'll play and contribute immediately in the NBA.
Yeah, I think the biggest losers in all of this are people picking in the NBA second round, because you have a lot of guys that probably would be right there at the beginning of the second round, if not on the teetering on the first. And now what happens is, because the surefire picks are going to be there, 1 through 20, they didn't go anywhere. It was 21 back that decided, okay, so a lot of them decided, okay, I'm going to come back to school. And what that does is shrink who's available for those second round teams. All of a sudden, it's just not a very sexy lineup. I mean, there's some okay, and there's certainly some flashes in the pan. There's certainly some guys that might turn out to be great. But, man, I'm telling you, when a draft loses Alex Condon, a Tahad Pettiford, a LaBaron Philon, a Knox from Arkansas, when those guys decide to come back to school, all of a sudden it's like, okay, somebody that would have gone mid-second might go late first. So there's some winners on the player side, but there's some big-time losers on the NBA side.
Well, I think one of your biggest winners right off the bat, which I already admire a lot, is Walter Clayton Jr. So
Yeah.
I expect good things from Walter Clayton Jr. Speaking of dogs, I can admit when I respect another team just based on the players that they have and the coaching. And again, he was the engine for that Florida team. And yeah, Walter Clayton Jr. He just got bumped up in the NBA draft with Philon and Pettiford coming back.
Yeah, no, he's sitting there going, y'all just go on back. That's fine.
Exactly.
That's fine with me because, the one thing about Walter Clayton Jr., I mean, if I were drafting, I would probably draft him higher than Philon and Pettiford. And I love both those guys. But I think NBA people are like, we think we can make these two shoot like him eventually, but they have better measurables. They maybe play a little better defense or whatever. And I don't know that you can get there. Just the NBA is more so than any other league seems to draft on what they think they can do with you later versus what you've actually shown.
Yeah, they draft completely on the young players. It's all potential, measurables, and athleticism. That's what they're looking for, and they're hoping that they can develop you. But again, I think the positive side of NIL, you will get some more mature players that get drafted by the NBA, and when you see those come in and have success, then they'll just feed on itself. So you might see the draft evolve almost not exactly like it was in the 80s and 90s, but a little more drifting back toward that in the next 5 years.
All right, Mike, appreciate you hopping on with us. This was unexpected, and you made room for us, so we appreciate you. And Jimmy's gone to get a haircut, so you stepped in for Jimmy very admirably. We appreciate you, buddy, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Until next time, roll tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.